Welcome to the newest and innovative talk show, Ladies of Society, with your host, Queen, the Black Butterfly herself. Tune in to the hottest new show as Queen brings you the news from her queendom of controversy.
Hi, I'm Queen, and welcome to this episode of Ladies of Society, and I am excited to share with you this incredible young lady who is definitely being acknowledged. We're paying homage to her in our Sheroes and Heroes segment of Ladies of Society. I told you guys that we will be doing that once a month. And today is the day in this episode that we will be showcasing Amara Leggett, who is an incredible 18-year-old here in Columbus, Ohio, doing amazing and exceptional things. She is a fabulous role model, and we want to share her story with you today. We have a pretty inspirational and upbeat and have a great time here on Ladies of Society. But on today's show, we will be discussing bullying. And we have several guests today who will be showcasing their stories. And also, we have an event coming up called the Beautiful You Fashion Event, where they are bringing awareness to bullying as well. So we will be interviewing our guest, Tonya Kelly, and addressing that major issue. It has become one of the biggest platforms in addressing bullying in our schools with children, but also there are different forms of bullying. We will be discussing that today on Ladies of Society. I want to read a piece that I wrote addressing bullying, and I want to share that with you guys today. You take my uniqueness and you make it wrong. You take how God created me to be and you make it ugly. You take the right and the privilege to judge me when you didn't have the right or possess the power to create me to be me. You take the right to subject me to your meanness and cruelty, and the torture, the pain, and the embarrassment makes me wish I wasn't me. Let's just put it all out there right here and right now. I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm tall, I'm short, I'm dark, I'm white, I'm ugly, I'm smart, I'm different, I'm this, I'm that, forever it goes on. And this list lasts forever. Now, we got all of that out. We can all let it go now before another life is made to feel hopeless. Another human being's life is taken. We have got to stop the bullying before your child's life is lost or your loved one is gone. But you can no longer take my power away from me. Stop the bullying. We'll be back. This show is being brought to you courtesy of Queen of Queens Productions, Modeling and Management. Hi, welcome back to Ladies of Society. I am your host, Queen, and we have an exceptional young lady here today that we are acknowledging on our Heroes and Sheroes segment that we acknowledge once a month, either locally or worldwide, someone who is impacting the community, making a difference, sparking a change, and has an incredibly inspirational story. And today, here on Ladies of Society, we have Amara Leggett with us today. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No problem. Now listen, I want you to tell our viewers all about yourself.
Okay. So that's a hard question. Great way to start off though. So I graduated high school and college at 16 years old here in Columbus.
Wow.
During that time, I decided to start my blog, which is now my website, but at the time it was a blog, ayounglegend.com. Don't forget the A. Sharing my experiences in business and education and helping others achieve the impossible at whatever age they're at in their life. And from there, I've been given so many different opportunities, including doing a TEDx talk. And that launched my speaking career, and ever since then, people have been asking me to speak all around the country. And most recently, in October, I released my book, The Strategic Mind of a Young Legend. And from there, just every week or so, there's something new that comes up. I was recently featured in The Root, which is kind of like a media platform for African Americans. And I received a social advocacy award here in Columbus. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you now, being so young, what is it that motivates you with just being an entrepreneur, now an author, graduating college, both school and college at 16? What is your motivation being so young?
So it has changed throughout my lifetime, I guess, my small lifetime. When it came to graduating early, it was all about doing the things that would not be provided to me otherwise. So there's a national program called dual enrollment that allows students here in Ohio as young as in 7th grade to start taking college classes for free. They pay for your books and everything. So I jumped on that bandwagon at 14. I was like, let me just start on this journey and we'll see where it takes me from there. And that's kind of changed my life and the things that I'm able to do since, I guess, achieving that accomplishment. But now my motivation is just making an impact. So making the world a better place than, when I leave it and when I received it. So just watching other kids and being able to connect with other young entrepreneurs and being in that community of people who are all about making the world better and leaving a legacy, which is my biggest motivation. Just taking myself outside of the equation and realizing what needs to be a foundation for different communities and different cultures.
Who has been an influence on you? Because wow, you have taken on some really huge shoes to fill in stepping into a role to be a spark of change at such an early age. Who is your mentor? Who instilled your worth ethics, your motivation? Just everything about you that makes you have such a drive.
My mother is an entrepreneur as well, so I definitely have business in my blood. I started that in 8th grade. I was just obsessed with the business mindset, which is different from starting a business.
Right.
Getting yourself into that place where you want to make something out of the life maybe that you don't have at that moment, and using the resources to create something big out of nothing. And I was obsessed with that. And my mom has been there with me all the time. She helped me register my business. She helped me make my blog in the first place. And she told me to write 10 blog posts and just launch it. And that's what I did. And ever since then, I've just been pitching people, which has been the biggest thing, just reaching out to people and telling them my story.
Well, we definitely have to showcase your mother, too. Thanks, Mom. Raising an incredible daughter. So why the book? What inspired you to do the book?
So the book kind of came out of just things that I'm not able to share when I'm speaking. So on a stage, you're given time allotment to tell your story and make an impact and give value all at the same time. And I realized that there was more to share, just not only in the information I was giving them, but just those little stories of my life that made me who I am, and breaking down when you have nothing, little to nothing, how you can make a brand or a business out of that. And that was my motivation of creating that book, how to gain access to success from little resources.
Wow. I'm telling you, this is an incredible young lady. We actually have an excerpt of her reading her book, and we want to share that with you guys now. So as soon as you guys check it out, we'll be right back.
My name is Amara Leggett, also known as A Young Legend. I am an 18-year-old author of The Strategic Mind of A Young Legend, an entrepreneur and motivational speaker. I also graduated high school and college at 16 years old. So I am going to take a minute to read a story from my new book, chapter 5, called The No Class Reunion. You've got what it takes, but it will take everything you've got. I walked past the tall white pillars that seemed to be holding the brick building together. I opened the front doors of my high school and began to walk towards the lobby. I pushed the next set of large doors to find 2 desks on either side of the room. I had a very important appointment that day, to be presented my high school diploma by the principal. Unfortunately, I would not be walking across the stage at my future graduation ceremony. I waited on the wooden bench until everyone who contributed to my official graduation entered the room. The brief moment of accepting my diploma and shaking hands with the principal flew by, but we did take a moment for my mother to get a picture of us. I shook with my right hand and held my diploma in the left. I was presented my unofficial diploma in December of 2017, though I did not otherwise receive it until May of 2018, when the rest of the class would later graduate. I transferred to a college out of state because I was sure to receive my certificate of completion before I left. Months later, I received the official college diploma in the mail. I was not aware that the principal would be presenting my diploma to me that day, but I was grateful that he did. I put a great amount of work into accomplishing what I set forth 2 years before that moment, and I would miss the proper ceremony that all the other students would receive months later. My story of how I received my recognition sums up the obstacles I faced to reach that lobby and stand next to the principal. The moment that I had to glance down at my protected certificate of completion made me realize that I achieved this at 16 years old and everyone else can do the same. I had given my business card to the principal before, but I had a feeling that I would be back very soon. Now I can go back to speak to my high school and share how I completed it. The students can have someone to tell them they can do anything they set their mind to with results. The film that covered my signed, dated, and glossy document was the beginning of my journey to academic and business success. I would not have a successful business today unless I continued the path to graduate early. I had several complications with my high school and college communicating with each other about my advanced plan. I jumped through unimaginable hoops to hold that small book carrying my diploma. It represented all the possibilities of when a kid develops a plan. When I walked out of the brick building, passing the beautifully mowed lawn and through the black iron gates, that would be the last time I attended my high school.
This show is being brought to you courtesy of Queen of Queens Productions, Modeling and Management.
Hi, I'm Queen, the host of the hottest new talk show, Ladies of Society, the talk show for women and the men who love us. Tune in every Thursday at 7 p.m., airing on Bounce TV 23 Columbus, courtesy of Queen of Queens Productions, Modeling and Management.
And that was incredible. I hope you guys enjoyed Amara Leggett's excerpt, and we're going to give you that information so you can get that book. So listen, I want you to, first of all, before we go any further, let's just go ahead and give our viewers that information on how they can actually purchase the book.
Yes. So you can purchase it on Amazon and through my website if you want an author signed copy. The website is ayounglegend.com. Don't forget the A, and you can find all the information there.
And we're also going to make sure that we have that information in the credits, and of course definitely on my website. So we'll make sure that you have that information. Support this young lady. They're going to purchase me a copy. I've read this woman's credentials, her accolades, and she is just incredible. And make sure that you definitely book her for your next motivational speaking event. Now that we've addressed that, give us a little information on the type of events you've spoken at and the impact you've had on them, just allowing them to hear you speak.
So I speak at many different environments. I started with my TEDx talk, so that was like a really large audience. I've done conferences for kids, I've done schools, I've done really intimate settings for organizations, all the way up to corporations. So I recently spoke at a company in New York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm pretty well versed in all environments. And when it comes to the impact, it really just depends on the audience and what they need from me. So when it comes to students, I tell them about my dual enrollment journey and how they can achieve success and find success through little things like social media, creating a LinkedIn page early. And then when it comes to like adults and corporations and things like that, it's all about productivity and how to maximize what you know you can do and make it a reality.
Let me ask you this. Now, I know you have probably impacted a lot of young people's lives, not just young people, but adults as well, because I'm telling you, I was just literally floored by you. I was. But what is the story that sticks with you the most, where somebody reached out to you and told you how you have influenced their lives?
I receive a lot of messages. One has been a 70-year-old lady reaching out to me. She was a professor at a university, and she saw my TEDx talk and found my website and just shared her experiences with like how I've motivated her, and that really puts it into perspective that my story is not just for people my age, it's for anyone. And then I get kids all the time who reach out to me and just ask me what are the next steps in their life and what things can they do, including like starting on college classes early. Just give me an outline of what my schedule maybe should look like for someone who has no idea about college classes. So it really just depends, but I've gotten great messages about my book, about speaking and just coaching, because I'm willing to jump on a call for anyone and just have a great conversation with them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let me ask you this. Do you feel like, my God, at 18 years old, you've accomplished so much already? Do you feel like the pressure is on you to just keep doing more and more and more as you get older?
Yes, I will say, but it's good pressure. Even though I've achieved a lot at 18, some people say I've achieved a lot.
You have.
I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I feel like it's just my work. It's just my purpose, and that's how I give back to my community. And it's the things that I love to do every day. So my passion has become, that's just my work, and I don't realize what I'm doing. So at 18, I realize every year that I need to make a new goal just to keep up with the things that I want to do for the world. But it's good pressure.
Let me ask you, what is next on your agenda?
Yes.
As far as, your goals?
So I have a lot of things that I'm working out, just continuing to share my message, getting my book into the hands of people who really need it, and I know that everyone does, and working on just personal growth, and when it comes to expanding who I can be to others, and how I can serve the community, whether that's a local community or worldwide, and just being a part of every community in a way that they need me. So if it's students in Johannesburg, I want to be there for that. So it's just, you got to stay tuned, because things unravel all the time, and it's just a lot of planning in the works. But yeah.
Well, listen, I just want to say, first of all, I want to acknowledge you personally, and of course here at Ladies of Society, you are an exceptionally young lady. I'm going to continue to watch you. Anytime you're doing anything, please, it's an open door policy here at Ladies of Society.
Thank you.
You are more than welcome to come back and share that with us. We definitely want to support you, and we appreciate you, and thank you for being on this episode of the Heroes and Sheroes of the community, both locally and worldwide. We are acknowledging Amara Leggett. Make sure you get that book, you follow her, and I want you to give our viewers all of your information on how they can follow you on Facebook, Instagram, your website, all of that great information.
Okay, so starting with Facebook, The A Young Legend. Instagram, it's a.young.legend. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Amara Leggett, 2 G's, 2 T's. And then my website, ayounglegend.com. Don't forget the A. And if you go to the website, you can find all my social media and everything like that as well.
Well, listen, it was a pleasure having you, and we just want to say thank you again for just being you, an exceptional young lady, very talented and beautiful.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. I want to say this. She is definitely a legend, and I'm going to predict it right here and right now. She is going to do even more amazing, incredible things. I see her just changing the world, being that spark of change that we love. And we appreciate this young lady and any individual like her. If you know a young person that we should be acknowledging and paying homage to, definitely send that in to us. And of course, you know the email. It's probably going across the screen right now. And make sure you submit that, because we want to definitely acknowledge them and pay homage to them. So you continue to watch. We are going to take a break and be right back. We got to pay some bills, but check us out. Stay tuned. This is Queen, your host of Ladies of Society, the talk show for women and the men who love us. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Let me give you a little bit of background information on Queen of Queens Productions, Modeling and Management, and what it is that we do exactly. We are a nonprofit organization that provides opportunities, training, artist development for individuals who would normally not be able to have these platforms and also afford them. We create show productions, mini movies, modeling training sessions, and more. That's just part of what we do to give back to the community. This show is being brought to you courtesy of Queen of Queens Productions, Modeling and Management. And welcome back to this segment of Ladies of Society, and I am your host, Queen. And of course, what is our motto here today? This is a talk show for what? The women and the men who love us, of course. So welcome to my viewers, my los ladies and gentlemen. We are doing a phenomenal show here today, and we are bringing awareness to bullying. And my special guest here today is Tonya Kelly. Welcome to Ladies of Society.
Thank you.
I am so glad to have you here, because this was a topic that I have been wanting to address for so many reasons on Ladies of Society. So I'm glad to have you here. And of course, she is doing an incredible fashion event, bringing awareness to bullying, and she's going to give us all that information. But what I want to start out with first is I want you to tell our viewers all about yourself, about Tonya Kelly, and your purpose.
Well, first of all, thank you, Queen, for allowing me to be on the Ladies of Society. It is an honor, and I'm just blessed to be here on the show, as well as an opportunity to talk about bullying. I think that word is still taboo. Even in 2019, rarely people even talk about it. But I am Tonya Kelly. I am a first grade teacher by career, and I have 27 students, so shout out to my A+ Children's Academy babies. And I have my own On the Move with Sports multimedia company. I met Queen working for New York Fashion Week last year. So thank you for that blessing.
You are welcome.
But also, I started my organization, Anti-Bullying Empower You. And the reason why, because both of my children were bullied. Sometimes as a parent, you really don't know how bullying will affect each child. And I have 3 daughters. And the first one was back in 2004, 2005. So we moved to the school district that we're in now. Mm-hmm. And my second daughter, here we are 8 years later, 2016, my daughter was bullied.
Wow.
When you say bully, people think, oh, that's just cracking, because back in the days when we was growing up, I'll say I'm a 70s baby, right. So you know my age. Bullying was kind of, it was I guess receptive. It was like, oh, it's just cracking, it'll go away. Now in the 2000s, even I would say 2013, it has now been an epidemic, I say, where every time you hear on the news, there's a young child passing away from suicide because of bullying. And sometimes you get kind of complacent. And I'll be honest, I'll be transparent. You get, oh, it's not going to happen to me. You see on the news, because a lot of things we see on the news.
Yeah.
But for it to kind of touch your home, it kind of threshes you in a whole different light. And it started out with 3 children, Queen, and it ended up being 60, maybe even more, because it was cyberbullying. So that kind of even takes on a life of its own. And so the Anti-Bullying Empower You organization, it started because I had to empower my child. Sometimes we think about empower because there's so many different empowerments and groups out there. You kind of, that word gets watered down. But for me, it became my stronghold.
Well, let me go back because I want to let the viewers know more information pertaining to the bullying. When you found out initially that your daughter was being bullied, how did that affect you as a parent, first of all? And then what did you think in your mind, what do I need to do next?
And as a parent, it was, for me, I was angry because I didn't know. It happened before with my oldest, not to the extremities that we were at now, but why didn't I see the signs? I think that's the first initial action for me as a parent, and even for others. Like, why didn't I see the signs? Did I, my daughter still kept up with her grades, and that anger. So it's like I call the 7 steps of bullying. It's that initial anger. Like, how do I address this? Where do I go? And those are those first 2 things that kind of, and then the sadness takes over. Yeah. Because I got to go to work every day, and my daughter got to still go to school. And that's where the sadness comes in at. So those 3 emotions really, it took effect for me. Even that first full month that it was happening, I didn't even know how to deal with my daughter's emotions because I was still dealing with mine. I was mad, I was anger, I was sad, and then I was kind of just bewildered, like, who was these kids? I wanted to know, like, who are these kids? And that's when you go to the second, that going into like maybe that 4th and 5th stage, you go to the school. And then that takes on a whole nother emotion. And
people tend to say that, in going to school, like, oh my God, that makes it harder on your child, that makes it worse on your child. Did you experience that once you went to her school and confronted them?
Yes, it did. It makes it worse because now your daughter becomes ostracized. Especially if your daughter has to tell them who they are. And that's what my daughter did, because that's what I've taught her. If things are happening, you want to tell because you're thinking that the school is going to protect you. Yeah. And even as me as an educator, that's how I feel. I am an advocate for my children as well as my school babies. Right. So when it doesn't happen, it comes madness to you. It's like, what do you mean? It's not bullying. They call it everything else but bullying. Not when my daughter's hiding in the bathroom.
I think that sometimes, society doesn't pay attention to a lot of things, and, they minimalize it. I know that when we were growing up in our era, they would always say, oh, that's normal, that's kids' things. They'll get over it, they'll, be on something else, and that was never the case. And I think that, in 2019 with the bullying, we have to definitely take different measures to start changing things.
Unfortunately, the time has run out, but be sure to tune in next week for the second half of this show with Queen and the Ladies of Society. Keep watching.
Talk show, Ladies of Society, the talk show for women and the men who love us. Tune in every Thursday at 7 p.m., airing on Bounce TV 23 Columbus, courtesy of Queen of Queens Productions, Modeling and Management.
International and New York Fashion Week fashion designer Queen Leah Gardner is debuting her very own t-shirt line, Queen's QTs. Designed by the Queen herself with beautiful designs starting out as low as $25 and up. These designs all have inspirational, empowering, and wonderful messages with a purpose about feeling like royalty every day with Queen's signature Royal Crown t-shirts that you can wear every day and be your very own queen with various colors and sizes. Get yours today. Visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/QueensQTs, facebook.com/QUEENSQTEES, and order yours today, or contact Queen via email at ggoldqqueen22@yahoo.com.